And good evening and welcome back to the Link to the Past Randomizer tournament for this match between jmeasher and fcoughlin. I'm Adirondack Rick, being joined by NY Rambler. For Breeze, doing the tracking in the background for us. So, obviously this is a game 3. Fred won game 2, jmeasher won game 1. jmeasher liked the settings for game 2, opted not to change anything for game 3. And Rambler, what is that?
We are doing what's called MC Shuffle. MC stands for Maps and Compasses. The maps and compasses of each dungeon are shuffled into the general item pool. For ease of sake, it's also key sanity without the keys.
Pretty much so. That means that the particular dungeons may have a little extra weight to them. Like, for example, Eastern's going to have a potential 5 items instead of 3, and so forth and so forth. So, jmeasher versus fcoughlin. Where is the fun going to be? What's going to be our go mode item?
I just got done watching a race that wasn't streamed between Willard J. Bradley and Trank89. They each had different go mode items. One had boots, one had fire rod, I think. So let's go with a fire rod.
A fire rod go mode. That sounds evil. Let's do this.
And in Fred Coughlin style, good luck to both of you. We're all counting on you.
And we'll probably see Fred go in his typical style of starting here with a sanctuary and then doing a hula hand to get himself some rupees and then head on over towards Link's house. jmeasher looks like he's going to be attacking the escape area first.
Yeah, the jmeasher strat is a strat that I like to use. I changed off of this recently, but this is a strat that I've used for most of my time playing this randomizer.
And the whole idea here is that a lot of people like to put off doing the escape area. So if there's something here, you might believe that your opponent is not going to find this for quite a while. As we find the compass to Swamp Palace, and Fred does the hula hand, jumps in the water 4 times, which gets the camera misaligned. And that's what the hula hand is. It's the game saying, I don't know where to put you, so therefore I'm going to put you in here. And hey, look, some rupees.
Yeah, the reason it's called the Houlihan Room is because some guy named Houlihan won a contest off of Nintendo Power 30 years ago, and there you go. It's named Houlihan Room.
So, just marking about this match here. This obviously is game 3 of the first round of Group U. The winner of this match will be facing off against Yoshi I, who ended up winning their best of 3 match against Death King 2 to advance to the top finals. The loser of this match drops down into the elimination bracket, where they'll be facing off against Death King 2 to hope to keep their tournament life intact.
Yep, and both these runners are pretty much veterans of the game. jmeasher's been around for a little bit over a year, I believe. Fred's been around since, I think, the beginning.
Yeah, the first original tournament in 2017 he was a part of. He was in my group for that.
Yeah, Fred Coughlin, also, if you are not in the know, he is the creator of the Zelda 1 randomizer. So he is very adept at randomizers in general, and he's also very good at the vanilla game as well.
So we're going to get to see what is over here on the Lumberjack, and it turns out to be a map. So we're not going to get information about a particular dungeon by way of that map. But and they're not going to... I was going to say, they're not going to go... They're not going to go do Aghanim to find out what that map is.
Yeah, what these runners can do, though, is they can get information on 3 dungeons 2 different ways. One, they can talk to Sahasrara, find out which dungeon has the green pendant, and you can talk to the bomb vendor in the Dark World. He will tell you which dungeons are the 5 and 6 crystals to get the big...
Yeah, and that's going to be a very big piece of information to find out. Fred finds the flippers, which is good to find at this stage after he is done. And jmeasher leaving a piece of heart behind. That's an interesting decision at this stage with only 3 hearts. But he probably figures he's going to find some enforced grab from chests.
See, that item I almost always grab because he might lose more time just dodging it if it's nothing you need. But if it was like a piece of heart in an out-of-the-way location, I wouldn't get it. But that one I would probably get no matter what.
And you never know when health can come into play. As we find our first bottle in the well, which is nice to find here while we're in Kakariko Village, and we find our first sword.
Yeah, this Kakariko hasn't been insane or anything, but it's been pretty solid so far. We have flippers and a sword and a bottle. Again, the bottle in Kak is always very good because you immediately go to Sick Kid to get.
And we have a bow as well, and some arrows to go with that bow. jmeasher hoping to get some bombs. Will he get lucky? No. He gets the shield, so whatever's behind this wall, jmeasher's going to have to backtrack to get. And so therefore, Fred will be picking up his bow as well as the other items right now. What wasn't the back? The first bottle was behind the bomb wall here in the well, so that's something that jmeasher is going to be leaving behind for a little bit as well. And just turned out to be 20 rupees.
So we'll see if jmeasher comes back for these two items. I know I would 100% come back for these because I do not want to have these two locations in the back of my mind the entire time I'm running through the rest of the season.
Absolutely. You don't want to have a loose square because you never know what's going to happen. It could turn out to be a very, very important item. Like it could be a hook shot, could be a hammer that you leave behind. And Sick Kid only having 10 arrows, and Fred presents him with a get better gift.
If you've ever watched Fred Coughlin run any of these Links to the Past randomizers, you should become accustomed to him bombing things he does not like. Like Sick Kid giving you nothing.
So jmeasher's cutting the grass here, and he does not have any bombs right now. And he doesn't have the rupees for the bombs either.
So there's I think one or two of these bush sprites are 50-50 bomb try, like you see usually outside of south of the Haunted Grove. Unfortunately, jmeasher is not getting lucky with those the bomb drops, so he might have to come back to Kakariko later.
And this game will send you back to Kakariko Village many times during the game. Like, you may get the flute, you may find other various things. Unfortunately, no bomb luck here for jmeasher so far. And unfortunately for jmeasher, he's going to still need at least 2 more bombs to get a wealth of items as we move along through this early part of this game.
Yeah, the lack of bombs also meant he did not get the flippers out of the chicken hut.
Oh, that is right. So he's lacking several items at this point. Now, the bow may make you think of heading over towards Eastern. And that looks like that's exactly where jmeasher is heading to right now. So just to restate what's going on here for our runners at this point, or for these 2 runners, we are playing 7-7 open map compass shuffle. It is going to be defeat Ganon as the end goal as well.
Yeah, I believe jmeasher had the option to either change something or change it back for Game 3, but he decided, nope, we're going to leave the settings exactly as they were for Game 2.
Yep, jmeasher does get some bombs as we find a book that is underneath the water at the dam. And more arrows to go with that bow. It looks like we're leaving those behind.
Right, so early book usually sends me over to Desert Palace, but not yet. Let's see. Green Pendant is going to be Thieves Town.
Of course, Thieves Town is a pendant.
Well, that's kind of changed to V31. Now, Ice Palace is always a pendant at V31, so maybe this is still V30C with Thieves Town being a pendant.
Of course, Thieves Town is a pendant. Oh, it turned out to be a gold bee as Fred unleashes that to take care of these mini Moldorms. Didn't want to risk it for the health of this stage. And so far, some bombs, some rupees. Now, maybe with the flippers, Fred could be thinking about going over towards Zora.
Yeah, he just got all his Zora money that he needs with those 350. Just as a note, just because we hear the pendant music entering Eastern, that does not mean that Eastern is a pendant. The music has been shuffled just like they are in Key Sanity.
Yep, and that is so you don't get an idea of what a dungeon is just by walking into it, because that would kind of ruin some of the fun of the map compass shuffle. As jmeasher going inside of this Eastern, there's going to be 5 total items in here with the map compass shuffle in effect as Fred finds a map on Hylia Island. It's going to head on over towards the Hobo.
See, that's an item that if you're able to route it in correctly, it's worth getting if you still need information. But I wouldn't go out of my way just for a map.
Hobo has 50 rupees, and Fred presents him with a get better gift.
I mean, it is the holiday season. He's just spreading the love,
So those are ornaments.
Yes, they are. Well, we haven't gotten festive mode out yet. We might see ornaments in festive mode.
Well, they look like ornaments.
Yeah,
you can hang them on the tree.
They have a string that you hang on the tree. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Looks like Fred is heading over towards the Ice Rod Cave first. As jmeasher going inside of this Daphos room here, and we're going to be seeing some dark room strats coming up here in just a moment, barring a discovery of the map, or rather this discovery of the lamp. Map a Swamp Palace for Fred, and we get ourselves another sword upgrade. That is the Master Sword for jmeasher.
So we're going to enter one of the easier dark rooms in the game with you just use your sword, and it's very easy to learn this room. It's going to play out the same way every time, basically. Even with
the most annoying aspect are the anti-fairies, but if you keep moving and don't get yourself caught up against the walls, you should be out of there without too much of a problem. Unfortunately, now he's getting himself caught up against the enemies trying to get out. He does keep 3.5 hearts intact.
Yeah, what will be tough.
Yo! What are those?
Paid off.
Those are boots there for Fred. The flippers leading to the other set of toes.
I don't think he's going to bomb Waterfall Fairy. Anyway, jmeasher's going to come up to one of the tougher dark rooms in the game. Back of Eastern. Those are power gloves on the ledge, so yeah, those flippers, jmeasher's going to have to go back to town and get those pretty quickly. There's 2 really important items to get.
Yes, those chicken coop flippers, exactly what jmeasher needs, but he's going to go ahead. And this is the strategy I like right here.
Well, he made that look very easy. You got to learn how to do that.
Use the arrows to find out where the Igor is, and then wait for it to start moving, and then fire another arrow at it. Perfectly done.
That's a lot better than my strategy, which is leave and come back with the lamp of fire rod.
Absolutely.
Well, Fred now has a lot more checks here to check out with the boots and the Power Glove. Power Glove can get you up to Death Mountain, although it will be a logic break because we still do not have that.
Yes, for certain.
No, we're going to see if the Armos is going to be guarding a crystal or a pendant here. jmeasher with the quick kill on Armos, which is a very, very good strat. Meanwhile, just gets some bombs, so Eastern was kind of dry for us. But
it was dry, but it did get a Master Sword, which could still become progression, considering the fact that we have the book in our arsenal.
Yeah, that's right. We could need to also maybe beat Aga with that sword.
We find ourselves the map to the Tower of Hera. We get ourselves a key and hammer time for Fred.
Well, that glove blocked the hammer for us. So again, the flippers is the start of all this chain that Fred's been taking advantage of. Still no Dark World access yet because we do not have the Moon Pearl.
Yep, so Fred's going to head on over towards the eastern area, which means any thing that jmeasher picked up inside of Eastern in regards to the sword and whatnot. Fred's going to have that soon enough, but jmeasher is heading back to the village because we know he needs to.
Yeah, he's going to also check these first 2 locations first. Backup lines at the back of the well, and then he's going to go to Chicken Hut, get those flippers, and hopefully go straight towards Zora.
Yeah, answering chat in regards to a question regarding jmeasher doing fake flippers. Well, he does know how to fake flipper. The problem is, without the moon pearl, which is what helps set up the ability to get inside the waterfall fairy, you're not getting what's inside.
And if you're going to ask us why you need the moon pearl, I don't know why. You just do.
It has something to do with the way the game puts in order of operations. That's as much as we can help you. Fred having a little issue getting into Eastern, just couldn't hold up and get himself into the dungeon. Controller issues. Had jmeasher spinning off a bomb by accident.
He's just leaving ornaments for the next person to come to the well.
That is right. So jmeasher will get this bottle. So this is very good in the fact that he found this now, so he can check Sick Kid. We know Sick Kid isn't going to be anything of importance, but it's another check that helps lump this all together. He doesn't have to go back to the village for a single check later on.
Yeah, we'll have to come back here, obviously, if we need to activate our flute, but that's about it.
So jmeasher's about to pick up the flippers. Now, the saving grace here for jmeasher is that he hasn't checked the South Shore area, so it's not like he's lost a lot of time. It's just the annoyance of him having to come back to the village more than anything else at this point.
Yeah, because Fred's doing Eastern, if jmeasher immediately does the same things Fred's done, they'll be on even ground locations-wise. It's just that jmeasher's wasted a little bit of time checking things twice.
Yeah, the only major difference is the fact that jmeasher had to backtrack to the village, and the fact that Fred's going to be able to do Eastern here with the boots.
Yeah, the time difference between having the boots and not having the boots between two runners, it may not seem like much in the grand scheme of things, but it does add up real quick.
Every single second starts to add up more time. So jmeasher needs to get these boots relatively soon, because the longer you go without the boots, that's where the time starts to really add up between the two runners not having a particular item. Now, the thing with jmeasher is that because he has 178 rupees, he will have enough rupees to get the Zora item if he continues on this South Shore route, because there was a 300 inside of Mini Moldorm Cave, plus the Hobo gave you 50.
Well, let's see what jmeasher does. Now he has his book. I mean, I would still do Zora checks, then maybe think about Desert Palace, but I think our progression is going to have to be in Desert at this point.
Yeah, why is the game giving us a Spear 1? Why is the game giving us a Spear 1 book? So Fred heading into the dark room, he's going to have his sword out, and I'm going to assume that he's going to make the same technique here that we saw from jmeasher, trying to figure out where the Igor is, and it's really tough when you lose sight of him. And there we go. Now he sees the arrow start to move, and there it is. And we didn't even need to get to the Hobo in order to have enough rupees for Zora. There it is for jmeasher right there.
So jmeasher's going to jump into the water here. Let's see if it does the same thing that Fred did. Fred went to Hobo, then to Ice Rock Cave, then back to the waterfall. Looks like jmeasher is going to go up to Hobo first.
Yeah, he sees just enough of that map, makes his way over towards the Hobo. As Fred gets ready to go off against the Armos Knights in just a couple of rooms, and then we'll be knotted up at 1 crystal apiece. And at this point, I would have to assume one of these runners will make the play over to Desert Palace to check to see what's going on with that book. We're just a moon pearl away from Dark World access. Beautiful Armos fight for Fred.
We're also a lamp away from having to kill Aga 1 for Dark World access. If the moon pearl happens to be, on the side of Pyramid.
Yep, and we all know that does happen every now and then in Randomizer, as jmeasher is going to do the same route as Fred chose to do. So now Fred is done with Eastern. Where is he going to end up going?
also have all of escape to check. I don't think either of our runners have checked in front of escape yet.
Yeah, they checked the. We saw jmeasher check the uncle area, but that was about it. And Fred is gonna check to see the book section of this and see what we have over in that direction. I mean, we've seen some moon pearls on the desert ledge before.
You also have a Gina's cave over here you can check, and we won't be able to beat Desert Palace just yet. We need a fire source to get to land molars, but you can get most of it done. You can always come back here later if you have flute and mirror easy access.
There's just 20 rupees on the desert ledge today. And 4 items inside of this desert. Let's see what we have inside. As jmeasher is just about 10 seconds away from getting those boots.
Yeah, and you can tell jmeasher's behind by a few minutes at this point. We've already discussed why. So Fred with a decent sized lead at the moment, but that could be made up pretty quick once we get to the Dark World.
Oh yeah, about minute or so lead at 19:15 into a hour and a half or longer race is very minuscule. Yes, jmeasher sees the gloves right there, and Fred gets the small key, so he's going to head on over here to the right-hand side, see what he can pick up. And we already have ourselves a tempered sword, sub 20.
Whenever I get all these swords in the early light world, that gets me thinking about maybe there could be something going on with Aga.
Yeah, and you know what would cement that would be to find a cape somewhere.
That is true. Also, jmeasher still has to do back of escape to get that hammer of his. Don't need the hammer just yet because we need. But once he finds moon pearl, there's a flute. There's
hi there, flute.
Access. So those boots again, blocked by the flippers, were needed to get to the boots, to get to the flute, to get to Death Mountain. So Lamp on Death Mountain's pretty much probably going to happen at this point, or our moon pearl.
And we got ourselves a map to Ganon's Tower, a map we don't need.
Hey, now we can find out if that's a pendant or a crystal.
Shut up. So Fred is heading out here to the right-hand side so he can check a Gina before probably heading back to the village to activate his flute.
Yep, the speed between doing it through Desert Palace and doing it through the overworld can be debated. I prefer to do it through the overworld, but either way works fine, as long as you get.
As long as you get from point A to point B.
Of course, Gina's cave just happened to have the moon pearl, and yeah, I kind of saw that coming.
Yep, and again, it's now got a bomb to the face. There is a piece of heart for Fred, so he's going to go back to the sanctuary at this point and activate the flute. And so, therefore, you're starting to follow the chain of the progression. The flippers that lead to the boots, that lead to the flute. Now, what we have found so far is only one item that is logically accessible to us up on the mountain. The item inside Spectacle Rock. What do you think we're going to find on Spectacle Rock?
On Spectacle Rock? That's blocked behind the mirror we don't have yet?
In Spectacle Rock, I mean.
In Spectacle Rock. Your sword, because why not?
Nah, I think we'll find the Titan's Myth that will allow us to get to King's Tomb.
Or checkerboard, because... Oh, we need the mirror too. Alright, so we're gonna get the mirror and the myths. So Moon Pearl's and checkerboard.
Because why not?
Look, if you're gonna have an epic game 3, you gotta go all out, right?
Exactly. Especially this fun series between these two runners. jmeasher. Okay, he's just lifting up the rocks. I was hoping that was all he's gonna do,
Yeah.
because you can't beat this dungeon without a fire source. You need either the lamp or the fire rod in order to do so, and the old man gives us a little bit of love.
I just realized I missed out on a classic joke I could have made when you asked me what was in Spectacle Rock. I should have said level 9.
Too late.
Oh well.
We see the ice rod
Uh,
up on Spectacle Rock, and we don't know if we need to finish this yet.
Please put the mirror into the rock, please.
You're evil.
Yes, I know.
And it's just a piece of heart, so the last portion of this progression that we need to find is in Hyrule Castle somewhere.
Okay, so put the Titan's Mitts in Hyrule Castle, then put the mirror in King's Tomb, and then you put the Moon Pearl in Checkerboard Cave.
Where do we put the mirror?
In King's Tomb.
Ah, but that'll give him the easy ice rod.
Yeah, no. Make Turtle Rock a pendant. We're getting there. Don't worry, guys.
We already do know that Thieves Town is going to be one of our pendants, and we did get a very fast map check there from jmeasher.
I saw Hera was a crystal.
Can't get there just yet, but getting slowly there.
We can get there once we find either the mirror or the hook shot. And we need a fire source, maybe, to beat the dungeon.
Now, here's a question in regards to map compass shuffle. Is it a bad idea, or maybe potentially a bad gamble, to Hera pot?
Because you might be leaving, like, you're guaranteed an item in the basement unless it happens to be the small key, and you're guaranteed to maybe leave an item in the big chest if the big key's in the basement, so... I full clear every dungeon in MC probably, so I wouldn't. First off, I don't Hera pot anyway. But if I did know how to Hera pot, I usually wouldn't unless I'm in like go mode or if the small key's in the basement.
We'll see how it goes, and then we are getting ourselves a pedestal check from jmeasher already.
Very interesting. All right, chat. This is what you guys dream about.
There's our hook shot.
Okay, now we have Death Mountain and Hera access now.
That also gives us that gives us Hera access. Also gives us access to the Ether tablet. The book came up somewhat empty, with the exception of the flute. And now you know where the boss hides. So we're not getting the pedestal for that compass.
I was a little excited because there's text I've never seen before on a pedestal. But yeah.
All right, so the hook shot, the item inside of Hyrule Castle that Fred is now going to take for him back up to the mountain. We have a whole bunch of items, and we know that the ice rod is up on Spectacle Rock. So what are you going to do to us next game?
Well, the hook shot gets us access to, at least 9 items, because we have... Not even counting Hera yet. We have at least 9 items.
9 items there, yep. Plus the potential of 4 items inside the Tower of Hera. Plus you can see what the item up on the floating island is going to be.
Yeah, another item that could be locked behind the mirror.
And so jmeasher will now find out about that ice rod, and he will not spend a whole lot of time to find out that piece of heart that is up there. He's gonna flute to 4, go back into the castle to find out what else is going on.
A little pause because he might have been thinking, well, what else is there to do? But I guess escape's the last thing on his plate, and he'll be able to get this hook shot and continue on with the progression.
So back into the castle goes jmeasher. Fred heading up to the mountain.
I think Paradox Cave was completely bone dry. Had nothing but like money and bombs and arrows.
What's that?
As a Paradox Cave was pretty bone dry, but we do see Quake is on a floating island. That could be required.
Well, the Staphos aren't in Paradox Cave. Those are mini Moldorms. Fred finding out what's on Ether. Ether gives us our mood pearl. There's our Dark World access.
Still trying to comprehend the joke, the terrible, terrible joke you made, but yes, Moon Pearl and Ether tablets. So now we have full Dark World access.
My joke was bone dry.
Oh god.
It's usually me going the oh god to these things.
I mean, if you watch the reveal stream, you know how much Rick had to sit through, Monistic, making every reference possible. Like,
oh, Big Key is downstairs in Hera. So, Hera Potters, let's have some fun. It's time for you to figure out what is inside the big chest. Fred trying to set it up with some menuing here. And he's got it. So now the question is, did Fred kind of maybe put an item behind that is downstairs? Because something is missing. The big key.
we know that downstairs is going to be the big key. And we know that there will be an item inside of the big chest because this is MC Shuffle.
Yep. And
however, it's locked behind fire sources, which is not in logic at all at the moment. And he just duck bounced onto the back on.
Moldorm says no. Moldorm's really saying no.
Wow, Moldorm is really giving him a hard time, but doesn't fall and gets it done. Gets a second crystal. We know there's a crystal already. I don't know if Fred knows or not, but we know it's a crystal.
Yeah, I don't think he even took a look at his map, but he does collect the crystal. That's the crystal number 2 for Fred. But jmeasher's heading up here as well. He will check the ether tablet. Will he head into the Tower of Hera just yet without a fire source? Now, wouldn't that be something if we find a fire source here in Spiral Cave? Because that's the next step for Fred.
Yeah, that's what's the last stop in the light world, as far as we can tell. He's going to be going to dark world after this. But if there is a fire source here, that's just bad luck, and it's something that every runner will do. Every runner is going to do Hera before they do Spiral Cave. Now, the question for jmeasher is, if he gets locked at a Hera, does he do Hera Pod, yes or no?
Yeah, that may be a changing tide of this race here if there turns out to be something important inside of that big chest. And no, it just turns out to be 10 arrows, so Fred will leave here and then he'll flute. And does Fred flute to 4 first, or does he flute to 3?
Probably 4, because with the hammer, you want to, or just going to 3. Okay, never mind.
Interesting decision here for Fred, but it is a either-or decision, and it does look like that jmeasher is setting up the Hera potting strats as well, so it's not going to be something that's going to hurt Fred then, if he does decide to... I mean, it's not going to hurt Fred, the fact that he Hera potted... Oh, that's a nice setup there for jmeasher.
That's a tougher strat to do, but it's faster, and jmeasher got it done second try.
Nice job there for jmeasher.
By the way, I just want to point out, I heard the disappointment in your voice every time someone finds nothing of value inside Spiral Cave.
Shut up!
Wow, this Moldorm is really taking names here today.
As he should.
He came here to bonk fools and chew bubblegum, and he ran out a lot of bubblegum.
And so jmeasher finishes off with the Tower of Hera. We're back to tied 2 crystals apiece, as Fred is going to go check to see what's at the big key chest. And that is the Cane of Samaria for Fred.
Well, at the moment, that doesn't do anything for us, but it's really nice to get it out of the way. That lets us get to Vitreous and Drew all Turtle Rock, which we can't do anyway because we don't have the mitts yet.
And it's pretty good odds that we are going to need it. So here's the decision difference here. jmeasher's going to Hype Cave, whereas Fred went towards the Skull Woods Thieves Town area. There's no wrong decision about this. It's just, hey, look, one may be luckier than the other.
By the way, jmeasher did skip Spiral Cave. Just want to point that out, Rick.
Ah. He's a luckier bastard than I am.
Finds the mushroom in the first chest in Hype Cave.
Interesting.
There's the butter sword. I knew it was coming soon. The powder. Alright, so even if you were thinking about fake powdering, now you don't have to.
Do you want to fetch quest? jmeasher just found 2.
No, I didn't sign up for this.
Yes, you did. So Fred found all keys here after dropping down the hold ahead to this portion of Skull Woods. So we've already found 2 items in here. Skull Woods is part of the 5-6 combo. Ice Palace also. And also Swamp Palace is also a crystal. So we're just a mirror away from being able to claim that, and that now gives us information about 5 of our crystals of the 7 we need.
Yeah, 5 crystals and 1 pendant are claimed, 2 and 2 of each are left.
As we check the Sea House, as jmeasher heads into the Palace of Darkness, which is actually an interesting and nice choice.
It's completable, even though it's not completely in logic without the lamp.
Yep, and it looks like Fred, I don't know if this is going to be a first 4 check, because he did talk to Sahasrahla. He knows this is a green pendant. And so as these 2 runners are heading through these dungeons, just a reminder for those just tuning in. This is 7-7 open, defeat Ganon, map, compass, shuffle. As Fred finds the compass to Thieves Town, and now we see the 2 out of 8 indicator pop up on his screen.
Yes, that's the functionality of the compass in MC Shuffle / Key Sanity. It lets you track the number of items in the dungeon you're in. jmeasher finds the big key in the first chest of Pod. We are bow locked, although this is not an issue. We have the bow.
And this might be just a case where, you went to Eastern, you found nothing of major importance inside of there behind the bow on the Armos Knights, so maybe you're just trying to see if that bow leads to something here. It could be just a red herring.
Well, if we do find anything in Pod now, we do know that bow was needed for logical progression as opposed to just killing boss.
The only question is what else is it for? Is it for an item, or is it just for dungeon completion?
Well, it's going to be for at least 8 items here in Pod, or 7, or something like that. I don't know. It's MC Shuffle.
5 plus 2, that would make 7. I had to add it up in my head as well. There's the ether.
Alright, so we know where 2 of the medallions are.
One of them behind the mirror up on the Dark Death Mountain. Fred finding a piece of heart as he continues along this Pendant Thieves Town. Now, we don't know what dungeon this is for jmeasher, if this is a pendant or a crystal. We're still lacking the knowledge about the other 2 pendants. Because you can hear this music, and it does sound like the Crystal Dungeon music, but it is not an indicator of whether or not this is a pendant or crystal.
There's jmeasher going down to the basement of pod. It's kind of dark in here. Let's see if we see what the item is or not.
Let's see if he can get to the chest. Still trying.
He heard it there.
There we go. Heart container.
All right, we can see it. It's the heart container. And another one.
Container.
The big chest of Thieves Town has just a red rupee. He's leaving that chest behind.
Now he's thinking about it. Like I think he's got himself mixed up with regards to the key logic at this point.
Yeah, I think he knew there had to be a small key, and he could have skipped it if he went for the hammer jump, but he's going to do this from the dark, so I don't know.
Speaking of missing, we see the missed joke here from Fred side here. Nothing so far in this Thieves Town. Obviously, Green Pendant could come into play. Beautiful fight there for Fred against Blind. And we get ourselves the map to Dark Palace.
Oh, gosh. And there's the compass
And then we
to
get
Dark
the
Palace.
compass to Dark Palace. And 50 rupees there from jmeasher as Fred picks up the pendant.
Now Jamie tries to go through his dark maze again? Or is it just going to save and quit? He's got to go through his dark maze. I mean, I go... And when it's dark, I was going to try to... I was going to kill himself. Okay.
4 more bombs he has to hit. There's the lamp. So there's
okay.
our illumination that we've been looking for.
I bet jmeasher wishes he had that right now.
Exactly. There he takes the death as Fred gets ready to check the brewery, and then he'll go ahead down to the digging game.
Well, jmeasher he's going to just leaving. Oh, he wanted to see what it was.
A crystal.
Wow. So he's going to go back in, go back to the back, get that key, and then go kill the boss. Yeah,
he's going to have to do this the annoying way by going through the mimics again.
Yeah, because he didn't open the... Wait, I'm confused.
If only he knew where there was a key that he didn't grab.
This key logic is driving me crazy. I'm still trying to figure out how he lost the key here.
Because he didn't grab the one in the beetle room.
Yep, you're going to need that one to get down to... Oh, I know which one he skipped. Okay, never mind.
As Fred tells us hi, as he finds a piece of heart. At the digging game. Yeah, this is unfortunate here for jmeasher. Just the fact that he should have grabbed that key. That way he would have made things a little easier on himself for this return trip. As Fred finds the Titan's Mitt on Stumpy.
Alright, Titan's Mitt gets us open to a lot of this dungeon.
Yeah, maybe now make that Cain and Samaria start to come into play. Now, obviously, Fred has no way into Misery Mire at this point because he doesn't have one of the medallions. And so jmeasher picks up a key, and he's about to spend the key right here. Then he's gonna have to drop down. He just realized exactly what he just did.
Oh god.
Oh no.
I mean, he just has to go back to the back and get that key out of that one chest.
Exactly. So now Fred does do the hype cave, and he's going to head on over towards the Dark Palace at this stage. Wow. I mean, this is unfortunate for jmeasher. We seem to be making a little bit of light of this, but this has got to be something where he's got to calm himself down, because you spend too much dwelling over this, then you are going to lose control of this race right immediately, fast and furious. And don't spend the key.
He knows that there's going to be another key in there, so it's fine.
And he doesn't want to take the death at this point, so he's just going to go grab this key right now and then head on over to the Hamosar King. There we go. Now, so Fred was going to have the lamp, which is going to definitely help him out in regards to this. The unfortunate thing for Fred is that now would have been the perfect time for him to check the green pendant, but he doesn't have the mirror to do so.
Yeah, so he's going to have to check this green pendant out another time, if at all, at this point.
As Fred now makes his way downstairs, he'll find the big key here. And this is going to be just a scene where Helmassar King drops the map, or drops the mirror. Because why not?
But that eliminates my mirror and T-Rock prophecy.
It does, but it would just be more annoying for these runners right now to find the mirror after all they've done in this dungeon.
That's very true.
Of course, there's other wishes that are going on in chat.
I mean, chat's gonna chat, you know that, and I'm kind of like an extension of chat. I always brew up these evil scenarios that almost never happen.
I mean, we've already got 2 fetch quests.
Yeah, but those are easy to knock out. We have the flute already. Jmeasher, you're going through the turtle room here in the total dark, which is a very tall order, but it looks like you got it.
Yeah, at least having the butter sword at this point makes it easier to take care of them once you finally get them hammered over.
Yeah, that's really the only real tough room here in the pod basin. These last 2 rooms are pretty trivial once you get through that.
Nice pair of hearts right there, that'll help. Now, if Fred really wanted to, with 2 keys in his pocket, he could choose to go right straight to the Helmassar King if he wanted to, and then come back in for the items afterwards. But he's probably going to go straight for the items right now. And with the gold sword, not a problem here against the Helmassar King. And Fred walks off the edge. And Helmassar King drops us 3 bombs.
I'm starting to figure out what's going on with this MC Shuffle. What it does is that it puts more items in the pool for dungeons, but it doesn't put any items in the dungeons at all. I'm onto you, game. I'm onto you. Alright, we got the ether here, so that's something, I guess.
Well, it did put the ether inside of the Palace of Darkness, so there is that.
Yes, we got the ether.
So jmeasher's about ready to go and do the reverse of what we saw from Fred just a little while ago. And like I said, at this point, if you're jmeasher, you just got to calm yourself down after what just happened to you inside of the Palace of Darkness. This really is the few minutes that make or break a runner, is what happens after an unfortunate moment like what he just dealt with here in this dungeon. And jmeasher is going to be checking the magic bat, and we'll see what he has. Oh, I hope he doesn't get grabbed by the duck. Oh, don't grab me. Oh, no. Wow. Sniped. Wow.
Oh, my gosh. That was hilarious.
Oh. I have never seen that before. And just a rupee from the mushroom.
I'm at a loss for words right now.
Wow. Fred having to backtrack through here, taking a death now, and let's go try this again. Now put the hammer into your Y button. There we go. And Fred leaving out of here to find out that it is a crystal, just like jmeasher did. And here's the magic bat. Is the powder worth anything in this seed? Well, it's worth 300 rupees, but it's also defense.
That's a lot of worth.
And Fred, Getting the unfortunate stop here. Wow, what is with these enemies stopping these runners from jumping gaps?
Looks like jmeasher now going to do what Fred did earlier, which is not going to build a Valcast. We'll see if he does Thieves Town. We already know that Thieves Town, unless the green pendant paid off or something, is pretty barren.
I'm surprised Fred is pushing the statue with the Cane of Samaria as his white button.
Playing too much of a vanilla game, maybe? I don't know.
And of course, we have a whole bunch of people watching this match here live on Speed Gaming that got a clip of the incident of the sniped duck grab as jmeasher heads into Skull Woods. And we didn't see anything besides the Cane of Samaria here, but who knows, it could be ether to get you into Misery Mire. And Fred's going to have an easier time with the Dark Rooms here than we saw from jmeasher, but jmeasher's going to have an easier time with these Gibdos, considering the fact that he's got the Gold Sword.
Yeah, Gold Sword takes the Gibdos out in, I think, 2 hits, but the Sword Beams have been hitting the Gibdos, so they haven't been really going down that easily.
And there's the Cane of Samaria, fine for jmeasher, and he's going to go backtrack around as Fred faces off against the Helmassar King. So, where is our next step of progression here? There's 2 possible options, Rambler. You have the Misery Mire area, and then you have the Dark Death Mountain area. Where do you think the progression is going to be?
I would probably check Mire first because it's quicker. Even though it's less items, it's definitely faster, and you can come back to Death Mountain immediately afterwards. We don't find anything. The one thing that would put me off of doing Mire first is because we don't have the mirrors. We can't check Checkerboard Cave at the moment. We can't do Ice Palace, unfortunately, because we do not have Bombos or the Fire Rod yet in order that we need to get in there.
Yeah, that's right. We definitely need one of those in order to make it past the first room inside of Ice Palace. As Fred takes a look at his map, he sees what the crystals over Skull Woods as well as Swamp and Ice are. We already know that from talking to the bomb shopkeep. That 5-6 was Skull and Ice,
which both need the Fire Rod.
And when 2 dungeons that are the part of the 5-6 combo need similar items, like the Fire Rod, it kind of gets you to think what might be at the Pyramid Fairy.
Well, speaking of Pyramid, Fred Coughlin is going to go check the Pyramid, see what's on the side here. And after this, probably do Catfish, if I were to guess.
Yeah, because then that becomes a loose square. Yeah, we find only 20 rupees, and him not saving and quitting does tell us that he will definitely go to Catfish. He's not going to gamble on that loose square. And then he'll present the Catfish with a bomb afterwards.
So if this were a game show, and you know it's a circle of rocks, would you say that circle gets the loose square? Look, I'm trying here, guys.
I
know, 4 out of 10.
I'll take Gilbert Godfrey to block.
You fool!
And so let's see what Catfish has for Fred. It's just a little bit of love, and Fred is not even going to give him a bomb. And there is the lamp discovery for jmeasher. Looks like Fred's checking King Tomb. Or, yes, he's checking King Tomb. King's Tomb.
meant to put the Kingston here in Logic, so
We
see
got-
if this is.
We got people complaining about our Hollywood Squares reference. I mean, Tom Bergeron's version wasn't that old or that
About-
long ago.
22 years by around at that point now, I think, or 20 years maybe. We have people watching that were definitely not born when Tom Bergeron's Hollywood Squares first came out.
Like, if you really want to show your age, you can look at the oldest version of Hollywood Squares.
I don't remember that. See, that's what I'm saying.
Or even the 1980s version.
I don't remember that, like I was saying. Don't make me call you a boomer.
That's fine if you'll call me a boomer. I know a few boomers that make a whole lot of money.
Boomer Esiason, is he one of them?
Yes.
Okay. See, Boomer Esiason jokes in 2019, that's when you really know that we're going off the rails here.
And maybe we could go Chris Bergeron. What was that medallion?
That was the Ether, which we have.
Yes, and so therefore we can fully beat this dungeon.
Unknown. And it's unknown if it's a pendant or a crystal at this point.
We find ourselves some love inside Mire's shed. Does Fred go in? It looks like he is, because he's not doing a save and quit at this point. This would be a save and quit point, but nope, it's time to go into Misery Mire. Let's see what's inside. Look at us, we got a whole conversation started about game shows. So now the game show is, what are we going to find inside Misery Mire? Will you take what's behind door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3?
I was going to say, I'll take the mirror for 500, Alex. I'd like to buy a fire rod.
Do you remember when there used to be prize amounts worth 500 in Jeopardy?
Yes,
There
I
aren't
actually.
anymore.
Yeah, they doubled everything now because, inflation and stuff like that.
Yeah, they won't inflate the prizes on Family Feud. $5 a point? Come on. Let's get back to the action here. Fred's in Misery Mire. Of course we get the God Mire setup.
Yeah, if you get the big key in either the first 2 chests, it's what we like to call the God Mire, because if you're in Go mode and you get the big key in the first 2 chests, you immediately go to Vitreous and not have to worry about anything else. But we're not in Go mode, we're not even close, so yeah, we're gonna have to complete this dungeon.
Fred getting another key and picks up another key, and he's going to go right straight to Vitreous at this point. And I think this makes sense.
So he's pretending it's a God Mire.
Maybe he's just really wanting to see what's behind the Cane of Samaria part of the progression.
Plus, this will put to rest, like if he finds an item on Vidi, it'll put to rest the entire dungeon once he finds a second item.
But remember, there's 4 items because this is map compass shuffle.
Right, it's MC Shuffle, so... Well, there's still, there's unnecessary keys in this dungeon that you don't even worry about. But in Key Sanity, whenever you find a key to Mire, you're always upset.
jmeasher finishing off the blind. So both of these runners now have the green pennant in their arsenal.
Yep, but neither one have turned it in just yet. And Fred, you did this for a reason. You came down here to the basement, so you didn't have to hit the crystal switch. Then you hit the crystal switch, and now you have to go and hit it again.
Muscle memory. Muscle memory can be really, really tough to deal with that sometimes.
Oh,
As
yeah,
jmeasher gets ready to do the digging game, just a reminder, this is game 3 of the first round series between these two in Group U. The winner of this match will face off against Yoshi, who ended up winning their best of 3 series against Death King 2 games-0, with the winner of that series getting a spot as a top 32 seed in the round of 64.
Yeah, and in case we're wondering which where do these guys fall in the qualifying rankings. Fred is part of the second group, and jmeasher part of the third. As jmeasher gets his Titan Smiths from Stumpy, and he is going to save and quit. I believe you already did a hype cave, so we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, that was the first thing he did in the Dark World, so he is completely the cycle. We get ourselves 20 rupees off Fiddy, and it is for a crystal. So we know it's not for one of our 5-6 crystals, but it did become required to beat this dungeon.
So that means there's... do we know where all of our... Yeah, I think we have all the information now.
Looks like we... No, yes, maybe, yes, we
Desert and Turtle Rock have to be
do.
all 2 pendants.
Yes, they do, yes. So Desert, Turtle Rock, and Thieves Town are our pendants. And that also might be why Fred decided to do this, is because now he knows exactly all of his pendant dungeons.
And that also means that, well, the mirror is not going to be required for Ice Rod. We still need it for Swamp Palace, though.
Yeah, that means we will not be beating Turtle Rock at all this seed.
Yeah, because I don't think there's anything possible that could be behind Trinex himself at this point.
Not at all. 300 rupees there for Fred. Looks like he's going to put off doing cutscene chest for now, trying to see if he can't just locate where the remainder of the items are, because that's item number 2 for Fred. That 20 rupees is item number 3. There's one more item here in Misery Mire.
I mean, so I'll check the big chest and the chest next to the big chest. I don't know what it's called.
The map chest. And I think that pretty much... in Fred's mind will make the cutscene chest his last choice.
Try to save as much time as possible, because if that cutscene chest is the big, the small key, we don't have to worry about it.
Yep, for certain. And it is going to have to go to cutscene chest. All right, we may have simultaneous cutscenes coming up. And what's annoying about the cutscene here is the fact that you have the lamp, so you can't even do it the fast way by hitting the fire rod through the blocks.
No fire rod.
So jmeasher checking this up here. He will get an item up here, and then maybe he will go check. No, he's going to do the same thing. Go to the right. All right, so what is going to be inside cutscene chest? As we spend the next about 10-15 seconds here waiting for this to happen.
I'm going to call Bombos.
Bombos, you say?
I
guess those are Ice Palace centric.
Yeah, put Fire Rod on Ice Palace. Because, Fire Rod's always on Ice Palace when you have Bombos.
All right, survey says.
I was wrong. I'm sorry. And jmeasher. I thought we stopped with the game show references.
Too late with that. And so Fred is now grabbing the flute. I thought he was about ready to go and check the right-hand side here. Dark Death Mountain. Instead, he is fluting back to 6 and heading to Desert. Interesting decision.
We were boots locked out of here.
Yeah, but we were fire sourced from killing Lamo, and Lamo may have an item.
That's right. By the way, this is what I heard after we went to cutscene chest.
The price was wrong.
Yes.
Maybe we might have that sound pop up when Fred gets nothing off the Lammo. I think at this point we got to go to the Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah, that's one place we haven't been to yet that has 7 items. We could do Spike Cave, which we couldn't do. Or we can't. Maybe. I think Fred has enough hearts to do Spike Cave. He has 16.
He's got 16. Wow, he's got 16 hearts.
Yeah, 16 hearts is a lot. Yeah, there's also still the Hera Big Chest, which both of these guys skipped.
Oh my god! That's right! And now that that is in logic, that could very well... What if that turned out to be our fire rod?
Well, both of these runners are going to have to think about it if they want to go back there, because both our runners did Hera Pot to skip the Big Chest.
What if that's our mirror?
Like I said, both of these... Okay, I'm going to repeat myself. I'm not going to be a broken record here.
Like, that's just absolutely disgusting at this point. Gold Sword's going to make these Lammos easy to deal with.
That's why you don't Hera Pot. I'm sorry, what? Did somebody say something?
I didn't hear anything.
Anyway, that was a really good kill, and yeah, nothing on.
Also, remember, Fred never checked the pedestal. It's jmeasher who got the information about there being a compass. Alright, I think we have to go to Dark Death Mountain at this point. Now, don't forget, we still got the green pendant yet to cash in, so that still could be a piece of the puzzle. As Fred gets dead rocked, right in the middle.
You know, I've been doing this campaign for 2.5 years now. I've been playing Link's Past Randomizer for 2.5 years. When are we going to remove the dead rocks out of the game?
Never, because that is the easiest great equalizer in this game.
I'm gonna
never mind what we could find up on GT. Never mind the execution difference. Those dead rocks, they are the great equalizer.
I'm going to have to come up with like an Randomizer tournament or something. Get those dead rocks out of here. Of course, in my luck, the dead rocks will be, you know, in like...
They'll put the dead rocks inside Thieves Town just for you.
Oh, gee, thanks. Alright, anyway, Fred is going to go to Dark Death Mountain, which we believe is probably going to be our progression.
Let's find out what we need to get into Turtle Rock, because that could still come into play here.
Yeah,
if it's Ether...
We can go in.
We can get in there. And it's Ether! This seed is a little saucy at this point. So, Fred's gonna get inside Super Bunny Cave, check to see what's in there, check to see what's inside Hookshot Cave. And jmeasher's just behind him at this point. And he too gets dead rocked. 10 arrows. A map to Desert Palace, which we didn't need. A piece of heart. And a red boomerang. So you remember the issues that jmeasher had in Palace of Darkness. His decision not to go into Desert Palace, which of course is a pendant for a unnecessary pedestal, is put him right next to him as we find the mirror.
Okay. Well, that opens up a ton of ideas. I, if I'm playing right now, I am upset about that. I wanted Go Mode Mirror, not Go Mode Fire Up.
Yeah, the problem with the mirror is that it opens up way too much.
By the way, go back to when we first started plugging this game. What did I say? What did I say the Go item was going to be?
Oh, you said Fire Rod.
I believe I did say Fire Rod. No, do not. Commentator's curse. Do not burn the witch. None of that.
Now, So Fred is going into Swamp Palace. And this is a decision that I think makes a lot of sense at this stage. But if it turns out to be Fire Rod inside of Turtle Rock, that may just give jmeasher a big advantage. Again, this is not a done deal at this point. It's not a done deal at this stage until we know where everything that we need to get into go mode is. And it's not guaranteed that the Fire Rod is going to be our next stage. Because bear in mind, we could still find the Bombos.
Yep, and Bombos could lead us to Ice Palace to get the Fire Rod in there.
Yep, like you said about maybe a half an hour ago. So you're now 68 minutes in. You're not in go mode. The seed has sent you on several directions that have taken you away from the ultimate goal. What's going through your mind if you're Fred or jmeasher at this stage?
What's going to my mind is, what has my opponent done that they could be ahead of me at this point?
Exactly. And you know that Fred's probably thinking that because if he finds Fire Rod here, there's a shovel. And after probably uttering a few words that he didn't want to say at this point, that we're not going to say at this point, he is going to be moving on to find out what the remaining remaining 7 items inside of this dungeon is. But just getting back to the idea here is that Fred dug Thieves Town, got nothing out of it.
Yes,
that we know of.
He doesn't know that jmeasher did the same play. The only play that jmeasher hasn't done that Fred has done that hasn't paid off is Desert Palace.
Yep, and that is the other part of this, is the fact that, you know, you've dug 2 Pendant dungeons, you may be thinking that jmeasher had dug none of them.
By the way, jmeasher did just get the map for Desert, so once he checks it, he might not ever go there. He knows the pedestal's dead. He knows, I mean, there's only one item left on Land Mola.
And he is going into Turtle Rock.
I like this play a lot. You're here, you could get locked out in the first chest, but the first chest lets you continue. When you find the Fire Rod in here, then you're good to go.
And if you find the Fire Rod in here, then it might be game, set, and match, and you're moving on to the second round of your group. We find ourselves a compass to Turtle Rock, and we find the big key, so it's an immediate block here inside of Turtle Rock.
Yep, and jmeasher's gonna go Mire. He's probably gonna check the map, see what Desert is, unless he already knows what the deal is here.
He should know at this. He should know at this point, based on the same things that Fred knows, by process of elimination, and he's trading in the green pendant.
So he is not doing the Mire check right away. There's a lot of Mire checks he can check, but he is not doing it. He's doing the other loose ends first.
All right, let's see what Sahasrahla has. Sahasrahla has
$5
rupee.
whole dollars.
There's a map to Turtle Rock, which we don't need. There's the bombs. And so therefore, Thieves Town was absolutely unnecessary in this seed. As now jmeasher gets ready to head on over towards Swamp Palace, Fred finds the big key, and he has not checked the west side of the swamp just yet, but he will after he's done facing off against Argus. Now, the tough part about this is you got to keep in mind there's a potential of 8 items inside a swamp in map compass shuffle.
Yeah, so the left side's always going to have something, as opposed to regular mode where if you clear the dungeons normally and you don't find map and compass, you might do something over the left side. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it.
All right, so Fred facing off against Argus as jmeasher now will head into Swamp Palace. It's amazing how some odds and ends checks can really swing races around. As Argus has finished off for Fred, and he will give the treasure, which turns out to be red, but not the Fire Rod. The search continues. And don't forget, we got the shovel, so that's also a fetch quest that Fred's going to be checking after he's done with this. He's probably going to check the Bombos tablet, then the shovel, and then make his way over and check what we call Cave 45 before doing the Breadsmith chain.
There's a lot of things that the mirror has opened up. Now, the Breadsmith chain we could have done earlier, but it's a lot easier with the mirror.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So Fred checking the big chest first, and he gets a compass. The compass is to Ganon's tower. Hooray!
I don't think that's what he was looking for. Let's see what jmeasher does the same play Fred did. He is in the main lobby right now. He's gonna go south, check this one chest, and we'll see if he goes back first, which I think he would do. That's what most runners do at this point in the game.
Yeah, when you're one item from go mode.
Especially one item away from go mode, exactly.
Like, you take the idea that you might find it in the back section of Swamp. But we've seen races where left side Swamp have come into play. We've seen some races today where that's come into play, as jmeasher will make the same move that Fred made. And don't forget, there still is that possibility where the big chest of Hera could have it. And that would be the worst case scenario for both of these runners at this stage.
For sure, both of these runners don't want that to happen. They're both going to end up last location in that area. Oh, unless we find Bombos, we know two places for sure does not have Fire Run. That's Ice Palace and Turtle Rock.
So we find a compass to Misery Mire, and then we find a bee in a bottle, and Fred will present it with a bomb to show his gratitude for the bee in the bottle right there.
And immediately going to go turn in the Bombos tablet.
Yep.
And we already know the one tablet paid off. Ether had our Moon Pearl.
Yeah, I was going to say, remember the book did lead to the Moon Pearl up on the Ether tablet, so let's see if we get something off of this. And it's going to be a piece of heart, which is absolutely no to these runners at this stage. I mean, remember, Fred's got 16 hearts at this point. And remember, we gave grief to jmeasher for skipping a heart back about 3 minutes into this seed, and I guess it doesn't really matter at this point. Look at the health these runners have.
To be fair, both the runners are still on green mail. So some enemies will still hurt pretty hard, even when you have this many hearts.
Well, absolutely, but still the fact that we have 3/4 of our full life at this point. All right, K45 for Fred has...
How is there more heart containers?
We still have heart containers in this game. Fred pulling out the shovel.
Nice menuing.
Yeah, a little bit of rough menuing right there. We get ourselves a compass, which is going to be a no from the shovel. All right, time to do the Breadsmith chain. And realistically, at this point, we're down to the fetch chain. Fred has yet to check the powder and mushroom, I believe. But what else is there? Spike Cave and Hera Big Chest. Oh, that's right. Graveyard Ledge.
I think Fred is going to now.
He pulls out the mirror, and he will be heading on over towards Graveyard Ledge. Because why not at this point? Chad also reminding us of Checkerboard Cave, which is now open to us. And we find a red item, but it's a rupee. 20 rupees. It is not there.
So we are looking at possibly the last location of this fire rod here.
And remember, when we talked about the Hera big chest, both runners elected to Hera pot because they went up to the Tower of Hera without a fire source, so therefore they couldn't get the big key downstairs. We don't know if it's going to come into play at this point, but as the checks start to dwindle, the possibility of having to return there continue to grow.
And Fred's gonna knock out 4 checks right here. One of these checks we already know, Magic Bat, is just some money for us. But the other 3 are all unknown to us and could be our fire rod and thus our go mode.
And at this point, if you're jmeasher and you're a fan of jmeasher and hoping that he can pull off this win against Fred, you've got to kind of push jmeasher in the direction that Fred is either checking immediately right now or check something that Fred hasn't. As Fred gets into Peg Cave, we find ourselves a map that we do not need. Because the big idea here is, if jmeasher's going to do everything that Fred is doing right now, he's already like 4 minutes behind.
There's also the possibility that one of our runners finds bombos. Not
that's
bombs. Not there's an O in there that I just said. What is that text box? I never saw that before.
Don't take our jobs.
Yeah, sure.
So here comes the magic bag check for Fred. Then we will see the purple chest. As jmeasher is going to go and not check the shovel. He is going to do the breadsmith chain right away. And so now here comes the purple chest for Fred, and jmeasher is going into the library. I don't know if he checked that earlier.
He did not.
He finds the compass. I'm not really sure what jmeasher's doing in regards to his mirroring at this point, but maybe he's just realizing he's got to do the peg. There is the fire rod for Fred, and so therefore, at 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 48 seconds, Fred, the first of these 2 runners, into
go mode.
That would be the right move right there. So we know jmeasher's not too far away. This race isn't done only because it could still come down to how you route Ganon's tower. jmeasher does pull out a little bit of a combative advantage over Fred, then maybe he can make it up in that direction. With 15 and 16 hearts respectively, you probably will not see like low health situations come into play. It still is possible, but it's less likely.
Yeah, from here on out, as soon as jmeasher returns his purple chest, which I'm assuming he's going to do right now.
Yep.
Looks like he's only going to be about 2 minutes behind.
He's checking the shovel too.
Okay. Maybe 3 minutes behind.
He's not. He's checking the graveyard ledge.
Gosh.
Oh. We know it's not the move he needs to make,
Yeah,
but
hate to see it.
Nice immediate dashing there for Fred. Gets a little bit of good luck from good RNG from the fire chain. Barely has enough magic to get through with the torches, but magic's not going to be really much of a concern here when we have the gold sword. So Fred going up against Mothula, and then he's got to take care of Ice Palace, and Ice Palace is going to be an express dungeon with go mode. pretty solid fight against Mothula right there. Got him away from the spikes. Only had 2 of them start to move, and there we go. Fred picks up the crystal. Crystal number 6, says jmeasher. Continues to carry the chest.
He's gonna do
King's Tomb. You can't leave the chest behind at this point. Interesting place to leave that chest right now.
He might lose that chest.
He's got to walk around the long way.
Yep. And hope that he doesn't hit the mirror before he picks up the chest.
Yeah, exactly. So Fred's going to load up some potions here before he heads into Ice Palace. Nice move there by jmeasher. Really good. Really solid. Glad he was able to do that because now he's going to get himself into go mode. But Fred is 1 dungeon ahead of him right now. And there's the fire rod for jmeasher at 1 hour 23:46 seconds in.
So it's about a 3-minute difference, which can be made up on a left versus right side GT gamble.
Yep, and so jmeasher's going to do Ice Palace first. So it's going to look like the jmeasher's only seconds behind Fred, but don't forget jmeasher does have to finish Skull Woods first.
By the way, there is no better feeling in the world. Well, maybe Go Mode Swamp is a better feeling, but Go Mode Ice Palace is gonna be is one of the most fun things to do.
Oh, absolutely. You don't have to worry about checking any of these chests. You just have to worry about pulling up the Ice Palace bomb jump and then just heading right straight to Cold Stare.
And Fred not even bothering checking the penguin chest. The only thing that either of these runners would be happy to get at this point would be the silver arrows, but neither of these runners actually need it.
Yeah, the silvers is the only reason why you'd even want to check a chest at this point, and, you know, it's possible that these silvers could be here in Ice Palace, but the odds are slim. Fred taking care of the Sapphos Knights pretty easily here. jmeasher using the bomb strats there and the invincibility frames to get him through. And Fred now coming into the Ice Palace bomb jump. Let's see if he can get it first try. Had to realign himself at the first try, but does pull it off. Let's see how jmeasher does with the Ice Palace bomb jump.
Looks good.
I've never seen it with the Toad Sprite before, so I didn't know how good his form was, but he looked confident, and that was all that mattered to me.
I was just looking at the sword placement compared to the bomb. That's usually how I line.
Yeah. Yeah, that's totally understandable. That definitely helps out too. Yeah. So once again, just a reminder: jmeasher still needs to go into Skull Woods after he's done with this dungeon. Get the 7th crystal for him. Fred's going to be heading to Ganon's tower. Yeah, there's a lot of strategies. Some use the head, some use the sword, some use a shadow as their main telltales of where they are in correspondence to the blocks that they need to be for the jump. And let's see how these runners do with Cold Stare. And so therefore Fred is solid here. Looks like he may have... Oh, he's gotten back into the corner. Wow.
That was a good recovery.
Great recovery there for Fred. He could have lost that one really easily. And this turned out to be a Cadence Mario required Ice Palace, but it didn't matter. And there's a beautiful kill there for jmeasher, as once again, Fred getting ready to head up to Ganon's tower. jmeasher getting ready to head to Skull Woods. And we like game shows, don't we?
If you listened to us earlier, you can tell we're a huge fan.
Yes. So, Mr. NY Rambler, tell us about the Ganon's Tower Big Key guessing game.
Well, in Ganon's Tower, there are 22 unique locations where the Ganon's Tower Big Key can be hidden. What we ask of you, the wonderful members of Twitch chat, you esteemed members of Twitch chat, is to guess which chest between 1 and 22 you think that Big Key will be. The first person with the correct guess As long as you are a subscriber to the channel or have donated 250 or more biddies to any of the speed gaming channels, you will be entered into our leaderboard. What do you get for that leaderboard? You get nothing. You lose. No, you don't lose. Good day, sir. Sorry.
You get recognition.
You get recognition. You get your name on the leaderboard. It looks really cool. And you know how much Twitch chat loves to be recognized.
Absolutely. So get your numbers into there, and so I'm going to turn over to Rambler and say, what chest do you think it's going to be?
Well, I typed in the chat, I tried to play this game myself, and I typed in 11.
I'm going to say 18.
18 would be either Bob's chest or the first chest on right side, depending on how you routed it.
Absolutely. So here we go. jmeasher did not get the same RNG that Fred did in regards to the DoorDash there at the beginning of Skull Woods. So he had to pull up just a little bit, took a hit from the fire chain right there. But pretty solid run here for jmeasher as Fred gets ready to go into Ganon's tower. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. What way is Fred going to begin?
I don't know how Fred routes, so I have no idea. I always go Hope Room first. And, ooh, jmeasher got ball missed. Oh, no, he didn't. I saw. And Fred goes left.
He might be doing Dark Magician.
Could be.
Beautiful start there. Beautiful fight for Mothula there for jmeasher. 3 spikes moved. And he grabs the 7th and final crystal. He'll be joining Fred here in Ganon's tower. So jmeasher does have a chance if Fred goes the Dark Magician and it turns out to be Rando Room.
See another bottle. We see a small key. That's item checks number 2 and 3. Key of Berna in check number 4. And a piece of heart in check number 5. Now remember, when it comes to the guessing game, we're only going to be focused on Fred. So even if jmeasher finds the big key first, it's going to be on Fred's count for the game.
Fred is not doing Dark Magician, so maybe it's in Hope Room.
If jmeasher finds it in Hope Room, that's how he gets back into his race.
Yeah, exactly. Fred using Canis and Mario strats here for the crystal switches as jmeasher runs up his way towards the tower after picking up some potions. And maybe Fred is going to head to Rando Room and then go to the right side and not allow the Armos, or make the Armos the final section here.
That's a strat that I like, especially now that we found the Cane of Berna, so we can deal with the nasty spikes past Compass Room.
100% correct. We haven't seen the cape at all, so...
Random room, chest number 9 gets a bomb. 10 gets a bomb. 11 gets a bomb. And all bombs and all rupees, and we're going to keep on going. We're going all the way to Ice Armos.
Fred, hopefully remembering the fact that he's down to 3 bombs at this point, he's going to need one to get into the Armos fight. As jmeasher makes his way to the tower.
Could be a game. If jmeasher goes Hope Room and finds it right side, he could take the lead here.
And so Fred at the Bob chest gets one of those bombs back, finds 20 rupees. jmeasher going to the Hope Room.
Here we go.
And so, Hope Room. There it is! And a key! It's a true hope!
jmeasher is heading up the tower first. The Hope Room play pays off for jmeasher. Fred is still going to be not too far behind. He's just going to mirror out after checking these 3 chests, getting the Mirror Shield, a red rupee, and a piece of heart. We will see which chest is actually going to be the big key guessing game winner. See if he goes left or right first. And hope. But now it's going to come down to execution up the Gauntlet. It looks like Jamie's going to have about a 30-second lead here, as fcoughlin does find the big key in chest number 16.
jmeasher had a little bit of an issue with the first room of the Mimics, slowing him down a little bit. This could come down to Gauntlet execution, too. This is going to be a tight race.
Yep, shout-outs to our correct guesser, Mike Vitale Says, who guessed 15 and was our winner.
Yep. Congratulations here, and hopefully we can get ourselves over towards the Gauntlet fast for both of these runners. Fred finishing off with the Mimic Room. jmeasher heading up to the tower. The Gauntlet time, 4th floor. Fred picks up the arrows, needs them badly. Staphos decides to jump away from jmeasher, slowing him down just a little bit. No half magic, so can't use the fire rod strats here. Chasing down. Wow, these Staphos, they're giving Fred a chance. As Fred gets ready to head into the Gauntlet, almost gets pushed off by the cannonballs, but saves grace right now. jmeasher, final room of the Gauntlet.
Very nicely done.
Yeah, great strat. jmeasher heading over towards the Lamos. Got the fire rod out, but doesn't really need to worry about that with the gold sword. Misses it and can't get it one cycle.
I could come back to haunt him if Fred gets the one cycle.
Fred having some issues here in this Zazak room. And jmeasher going up to the 5th floor, 134.30. Fred's got his gold sword out. He does not even have... Oh, he's not going to get more than one cycle here. And he's getting bothered by the fireballs. And this is going to be a 3 cycle.
Yep. So he lost a little time here on the Landmo fight. Looks like he's going to be behind by... Still less than a minute, but it's going to be about, what, 40 seconds at this point?
1:35.04. 34 seconds. Up to the 5th floor. jmeasher up to the 6th floor. After grabbing the... Oh, gets beamed by the... right there. That's tough. 1:35.15.
Both our runners do both. They have the powder, so they're not going to have to worry about health. They can just powder the anti-fairies in the...
Not checking those 2 chests.
They don't need silvers, do they?
That could be a game breaker right here.
Down to 3 hearts jmeasher, but like I said, bust the powder out, get the 2 fairies here.
Now even checking that chest. 1:35.48 for Fred.
Moldorm 2, nicely done by jmeasher.
Blue mail.
Ooh, that might come into play.
Not even
checking the post Moldorm 2 chest.
1:36.09 out of Moldorm 2 for jmeasher.
If Fred finds the silvers in one of these last 2 checks, this could be a huge difference.
Finds a key. Fred trying to keep himself from falling at Moldorm 2. Moldorm 2 trying his best. jmeasher ends up going up against Daga. Fred pulls out his bombs, gets a 20 rupees, so no silvers.
And jmeasher gets Aga 2 down. We are going to be fighting Ganon.
36.50. Now, both of these runners should be experienced with silverless Ganon fights at this stage in the tournament. As Fred goes up against the Geometry.
jmeasher got a 3 cycle on Aga. Let's see what Fred can do here.
Oh, only 1 for Fred so far. jmeasher drops down 1:37.16. Oh, it's going to be a 4 cycle for Fred.
jmeasher with that butter sword is going to execute the dash strats, which is very good looking, but also very tough to do.
Remember, jmeasher is on green mail, although he's done a very good job of sustaining his health throughout the fight.
Now, both our runners will have the same exact pattern for Ganon, so just because you're seeing a lot of Ganon work.
138.02, Fred drops into Ganon.
jmeasher going to get ready for this silverless fight.
In the Dark World.
Interesting.
So, jmeasher was able to get the torch glitch, which would have been a horrible thing to miss out on at this stage.
jmeasher missed getting the triples.
Yeah, Fred can get the triples that can give him a little bit of help. We'll see how this goes. Both runners do have potions if they need it.
So jmeasher's just getting 2 hits per cycle here, so I believe that's 6 hits now on Ganon, but Mike, oh, we just missed it again. Another 2 hits. That should be 8. That's 9, by my count. 10 hits. That should be 11. Should be 1 more to go. Will this
And
be
that's it right there.
That is it.
And so jmeasher, because he checked the hope room, and Fred almost fell!
Oh, he almost fell, wow.
That was close, but jmeasher will take this and advance to face Yoshi in the second round, winning this race.
jmeasher finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 39 minutes, and 21 seconds. Get your GDs in chat for our winner of this race, jmeasher.
So where in the Dark World did we not check?
Could be Pyramid Fairy.
Oh yeah, that's
Vanilla.
Yeah, could be a possibility. Or Spike Cave, but wouldn't Spike Cave save the mountain?
I'm not sure how that works. I think the mountain's only for Light World Death Mountain.
Okay, that's possible, yeah. And there's Fred finishing off the Ganon fight as well. What a race! GG's to both of these runners.
And fcoughlin has finished in second place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 40 minutes, and 18 seconds. We are talking a difference of only 57 seconds.
As we will go ahead and first talk to our winner, jmeasher.
Hey, it's quite a race, huh?
It was. And we also have Fred coming on in here for the post-race conversation. So, jmeasher, how's your hope meter running?
Pretty high, apparently. I didn't realize. So it sounds like Fred went left first for hope.
Full left.
Well, that definitely explains it. I was kind of wondering how I won this race, given how everything started, but. Yeah, that's pretty rough.
So we'll talk about certain components about this race as we go through this interview. As we welcome in Fred, GG to you.
Thank you. Good game, jmeasher there. Great job.
Yeah, GG.
So I guess the biggest question I want to ask, Fred, is why did you decide to continue on with the whole left side after you went straight left entering GT?
I thought I was behind. Took me so long to find everything on the overworld. I thought I was behind entering Ganon's tower. And meta-wise, everyone goes right side first. So if I'm behind and I go right side and I get the big key, then I'm maintaining exactly where I am. If I'm behind and I go left side and find it, I might save 30 seconds.
So what gave you the belief that you were behind?
Basically the fact that pretty much the only places I had left to find Fire Rod when I found it were Hera Big Chest, Sewer, and First Chest, or however deep it would be in Tower of Hera. I think those are the only 3 in logic that it could have been, so I just was thinking to myself that I was almost certainly behind at that point, having less location to everything else.
And it did turn out that you had a couple of minutes lead going into Ganon's tower, and obviously jmeasher went the right-hand side, and Hope did spring Eternal with the big key and the small key there. We never saw what the silvers were. It turned out to be somewhere in the Dark World. We don't know where exactly in the Dark World they turned out to be. We were thinking maybe Fred pulls out the silvers by the 4 chests that jmeasher never checked on the 6th floor. But you got you got clothing for it.
Yeah, I figured that would help a little bit, but at that point it was just, figured I was way behind when I found where Hope was and just said, okay, I gotta hope for the silvers there and hope that jmeasher didn't get it. And nope, they're in the Dark World.
So
like Pyramid Fairy or something, probably.
Yeah, it's probably the only spot left really that I can think of.
Unless it was Spike Cave.
Oh, Spike Cave, that's true.
So what everybody wants to know about this seed, and I think both me and Rambler also want to find out, what went through your mind? What did you say? What went through your mind? What things was kind of being uttered when you blew the flute, when you're going into Magic Bat, jmeasher, and you drop into the hole, and the duck grabs you just before the cutscene, the fade to black.
I wanted to be mad, but it was so cool.
It was so funny that you...
Well, okay, so I was already berating myself for starting at Sanctuary for no reason. It's like I could just start at Mountain and Flute, and I was like, I could have gone to either the Magic Bat or Mushroom. They were both on the table after I got them both in Hype Cave, and so I pulled up my flute on accident trying to get to Powdered, I guess, and just gave it a little toot. And I figured, I was like, okay, this bird's gonna come for me, but I'm gonna dodge him.
And then he grabs you just as you drop in.
He sniped me.
At least you made the best.
Yeah, at that point I was like, oh, let's just go to Mushroom. Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be mad about it, but
yeah, at least you made the best of it by making another check out of it by turning in the mushroom. It turned out not to be anything that was inquired, but that was cool. That was really, really cool. What went through your mind? Also, I guess the other important question is early game when you finally got bombs, returned to the village, and found the flippers in the chicken house that you lacked for so long that opened up the early part of the seed.
Well, I mean, I was not happy about the way the game started. I know everybody likes to, clown on the uncle route. I never have bomb luck that bad. Like, I even checked the bushes in front of the refill house twice before I was like, forget this. I'm getting out of here. I was kind of hoping, hopefully I get a bottle or something, and then I could route that back in with all the checks that I missed. But yeah, of course, the guard dropped an 8-pack. Ryza is going to Eastern, which I had to farm for because I didn't have bombs to get into Saha's hut. It was just a mess.
So an interesting seed capped off by the fire rod being where it was on the purple chest. And in the end, the main thing was, at what point in time were you going to go return to Hera and check the big chest?
Oh, like very last. That was probably going to be like my last check with Spike Cave or something like that.
And what about you, Fred?
Pretty much the same thing. I would have gone up the mountain, probably checked. I don't know if I would have done that one first or Turtle Rock. I probably would have done Turtle Rock first, but yeah, then done that one and head down Spike Cave.
A very interesting seed, and it comes down to Hera, or rather the Ganon's Tower, around once again. So
that's why you choose Fast Ganon.
Well, neither of you are going to be able to do that in your next matches because coming up next for jmeasher will be the top bracket finals for Group U against Yoshi. And for Fred, you will drop down into the elimination bracket face-off against Death King 2, where both of you will get the great adventures of 7-7 Open defeat Ganon once again.
Looking forward to it. Hopefully it'll be a lot of fun again.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I was looking at Ayoshi's times earlier, and he's a 1 seed for a reason, so it's gonna be tough, but I'm looking forward.
Winner of that top bracket will be guaranteed a top 32 seed in the round of 64 brackets, and the winner of the basement, the elimination bracket, continues on into the tiebreak where they can get themselves back into this tournament and score themselves a round of 64 berth as well. So both of you, GG's, and good luck to you in round 2.
Yeah,
so
good
much.
luck, Fred. Yeah, good luck, Fred, and who knows, we may see each other again here in this tournament.
Yeah, best of luck. Hope you can crush it against Yoshi, and if not, then hopefully I'll get to play you in the next round. But either way, best of luck.
I just want to point out, looking at these collection rates, it's exactly the difference of 20 chests, and that's all Ganon's Tower. That's 100% the difference between these two runners in this race.
And when you think about it, that's amazing given some of the variances that these runners went, some of the tangents these runners went during the course of this seed.
They pretty much checked all the same spots, just in a different order. They all led to the same road in the end. Anyway, I had fun calling this, Rick. I don't know about you.
I had a lot of fun calling this. This was a wild, wild race at the very, very end. And GG's to both of you, and good luck to you guys in round number 2.
Yeah, thanks for commentating, and thanks to Trackers, everybody, for putting this all on.
Thanks a lot. Have a good one. And again, look forward to watching this back, and looking forward to a lot more action coming up here in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, there is a lot of tournament to go.
Absolutely. So we still got some races going on this evening here on Speed Gaming. We got the redo of game number 1 between Welkin and Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna that's happening over on Speed Gaming 3. But tomorrow we got a whole lot of races coming your way. Some of these are going to be on the streams, and some of these are not. But that doesn't mean we've got... there's a wide range of matches to go here. We see the Lane joining playing in their first group stage race against This Is Not Yoho. That's going to be over on Speed Gaming 2 tomorrow. Sailor Net playing Humbug, Korai versus T-Stew, Hitsuen versus Paraducks, Cassidy Moen versus Megawatt, and Welkin versus Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna, game 2. Amongst all the other stuff we got going on tomorrow, a lot of great races on this Friday as we continue week number 1 of this tournament. And what a wild week 1 it has been. 2 ties and a lot of close finishes.
And we also had at least one 4 seed beat a 1 seed already. JTB taking out Korek. So there's upsets galore going on in this tournament. Just goes to show when the competition is this tight, anything can happen.
Yeah, this competition was extremely tight entering this tournament. You had to be on the top of your game to make it into the field of 128 to begin with. So, it was difficult, and we're seeing this by some of these results. Like, we saw Divvy Signs end up taking a race off P-Train, as a matter of fact, and we saw other surprises amongst the way, like Chelsea X Lynn taking a race on Hula Ninja.
Yeah, Chelsea X Lynn was the last runner qualified, and she took a game off of the 10 seed. It's crazy. Anything can happen in these randomizer races.
So stay tuned. We've got a lot more great races coming up. Stay tuned to the Speed Gaming channels. You can do exclamation point schedule, see what we've got coming up over the course of this weekend as we continue week number 1 of the group stage of the Link to the Past Randomizer tournament. For Febreze Ninja, our tracker, for the crew at Speed Gaming, and for my commentator partner and NY Rambler, I'm Adirondack Rick saying have yourselves a great night. Rambler, send us on out of here. Or not. Good night, everyone.